Hi, I'm Richard Koch and I'm working to restore this Bristol Channel Pilot Cutter from 1972. She's been a project boat for at least a decade now and has not even moved from her berth. I think she has a lot of potential and I look forward to taking her out on her first journey.
Welcome to this week's episode. And this week we're going to be doing a bit of boat archaeology. And what that means is I'm going to dig around the boat, try and work out where things are and what they do. And I'm going to begin with the bow thruster. I'm going to try and trace it from the front of the boat all the way up to the control panel and the electrics. And the next job this week will be the chemicals. There are a hell of a lot of chemicals on board and I don't really feel safe, and there is a bit of a smell in the air, which you'll see what that is. So we're going to go through all the chemicals and get them off the boat. And finally, I'm going to do a wipe down of the engine and clean it, get to know it a bit, because in the next video I hope we can finally start the big gardener and get this boat moving. That's the content of this week's video, so here we go. So we've got the bow thruster, so you see the hydraulic lines, and forward we've got the solenoid which controls the direction. So apparently it runs off the engine, so it should be pretty good. And then down here to the starboard and port, that's actually where the bow thruster sits. So the job is to basically trace the wires from this box all the way back through. So I traced it through underneath by opening this floor panel and isolated the wires. So we've got the control wire and we've got the wire running off the battery. Remove this panel and all the way up into the roof, and basically it goes through the bulkhead. And then we've got this mess here, which is kind of the wrong way. First of all, I don't like these fuse panels, but we've got all the wires from inside the cabin. They're basically being pushed through these holes, and I don't know if they were newly drilled. Whereas I thought it might have been easier if, for at least the lights and everything working inside the cabin, you just put two power wires through into the cabin and then you'd have the fuse box inside. So it seems to be a bit overly complicated, but that's okay. So we managed to find the bow thruster wire and trace it all the way here. So we can see it here going over all through the panel, and it's tagged here, and we can see it go up into this pipe, up into the control. Then we go into this cupboard and we find the pipe, and I probably won't get a shot, but I think it's this white cable running up here. Then if we lift the dashboard, the console, we can see it running up under here. You're not going to really see a good shot here. And there it is. It's these two buttons here, port, starboard. They were right in front of my eyes, but I'm used to a joystick and really had no idea what these were for. So, like everything, it's pretty obvious once you know, but at least I've got a bow thruster, and we'll try and test it this week once we got the engine going. Here I am, surrounded by all the chemicals I found in the boat. I really want to clean them up and get them off, because some of them are 20 years old. And I felt when I've been below decks a little bit lightheaded. There's a funny smell in the air. I could just be being a bit paranoid. But to be honest, I don't really understand what I've got on the boat, and I don't feel safe, put it that way. What I am going to do is to catalogue all of these chemicals so I know what was used on the boat, and also maybe as a recommendation for certain paints which seem to have done a good job, and put them in the original technical file of the boat. And after I've catalogued them, they're going over to the waste bin here for clearing out. One thing I do want to share with you is sikaflex, and it expired in 2008, so it's 2024 now. So this is possibly 20 years old. So it's almost like an architectural artifact. and I have been interested to open it up and see what it's like inside. If you have a look at the condition of the back deck out here, you'll probably see that there has been no sikaflex used on this boat in the last 20 years. So yeah, let's take a look. So we've got sikaflex from expired in March 2008. Look at that, it's just set, it's like a big sausage. So that's what 20-year-old sikaflex looks like. This will be disposed of.
And finally, we found the culprit for the bad smell. That was this can of paint thinner, which had a loose lid. Now I've got a bit of electricity down in the engine room, and we'll talk about that in the next video. My goal is really to clean this up. It has not been cleaned in a while, and I've sort of wiped down these with a bit of degreaser on these 4-cylinder heads and a little bit here, so it looks a bit better. But if you get deeper into the engine, which I'll show you in a second, it's really dirty. And what I want to do is to degrease it, clean it, just make sure I know it. So cleaning it's a really great way to intimately know my engine. And I have the manual here, and I don't know this engine. It's a bit of a manual startup procedure. And really this is, yeah, as I said, does the clean, but it also makes me familiar with the engine, which is really good. And then when I get the manual and go through all the parts and the startup procedure, I should be able to do some pretty reasonable checks and make sure there's no issues while we go. So apparently the engine does work. I really hope that's the next video when we get this beast going. So here we go with a bit of cleaning. So that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. And I look forward to joining you the next time, where hopefully we get the gardener running. Have a good one.